What up, super players? Today I got a video that's gonna be telling you guys the 7 things that I felt beginners, and some of these things even come down to the veterans of Dragon Ball Super card game. Pretty much things you sometimes tend to forget, or it's things that you had a misunderstanding of. And I'm here to pretty much be your fairy god, a Dragon Ball player, and help you guys with reassuring you guys don't forget or misplay and stuff. So these are the 7 things I felt people would, I often than not, and me too, would mess up on. So first things first, let's start off with the most obvious one: forgetting to put your life. Believe it or not, I have forgotten to put my life, and it costs you a game in the tournament. Yup, I was at a tournament one time. We started the match.
Fight!
It was 4 turns deep in the match. I already played my Goku. I searched up the top 7 on the top of my deck, right? Searched the Goku, shuffled, did all my thing. And then when it finally came down to my opponent attacking me and I took the hit, I looked at my life. I was like, oh, I forgot to put my life. Oh, so what happens? I got disqualified. Yup, it happens. Don't forget to put your life, guys. Even you veterans out there, sometimes it can happen and you will forget to put your life. So if you're at a tournament, remember to put your life, because that cost me a match in the tournament, and that cost me not getting a tournament pack, and you really want those tournament packs. So don't forget to put your life. Next one. In the beginning, I know a lot of people, because of the way super combos were worded, they would be misplaying the way super combos would be used. So here's the Doria, right? This is why people would get confused, because of the fact that the Doria says gains 10k power for the duration of the turn. I felt people would misunderstand and think that your leader would gain 10k power for the duration of the turn, but in reality it's the Doria itself, or the super combo you're using, that gains 10k power for the turn for that combo phase, because once you combo with it, it goes to the drop area, and then the 10k power is baboosh, right? It's gone. So remember that, guys. 10k power does not apply to your leader. It's not a senzu bean. It's only for that combo phase. So that was for mostly for the beginners, because I felt beginners kind of misunderstood that. So remember, that's not how the super combos work. And let's keep moving, alright guys? Next, this one goes for everybody, and especially for the beginners. Do not awaken your opponent way too early, because it can cost you a game. Why? Give you a quick rundown. You attack, you awaken your opponent. Now your opponent has access to super combos. Your opponent has access to a big old hand, because you just gave them a big old hand, because every hit that you gave them, they got a card to their hand from their life. Now your opponent's at 10 cards in their hand and super combos available, and you're stuck at 5 cards in your hand, and your opponent hasn't awakened you, and now he's just gonna have way more options to figure out how to beat you, and that could cost you the match. So do not awaken your opponent too fast. The way Dragon Ball Super card game works is it's a tempo game. You want to control the rhythm of the match, alright? Sometimes you hit, sometimes you don't, and you want to relatively awaken the same time your opponent awakens, and then have obviously the battle cards ratio higher than your opponent's, and have your hand ratio higher than your opponent's. And that's how this game works. Unless you're running a leader like Vegeta with double strike criticals, or Super Saiyan 3 Bardock, you don't want to always attack and awaken your opponent too fast. And that's a very important one, especially for the beginners. Because I fell into that. And then next, very important one, even for you veterans, untapping yourself. Do not untap yourself, because that's like you with your hands up, and you're pretty much vulnerable, and they could pretty much sock you in the gut, sock you in the face, and go for game that then and there. So do not untap yourself unless you know that you could survive, or unless you know you could go for game that turn. Because once you untap yourself, this game has developed in such a way, there's so many cards that you could just go in for game. Shagash, Kappa, Khalifa this, Shagash, Kappa, Khalifa that. Now your opponent can swing. You're untapped. Now guess what? You you wasted all your hand to try to survive, and your opponent's just gonna out-resource you and you're gonna lose. Do not untap yourself. At the very least, always just leave one energy as a negate to survive, or one energy to super combo, 10k boost, some sort of play, okay? Do not untap yourself, it's dangerous. Next, this is a very important one, especially for the beginners, and even sometimes us veterans tend to forgetting to draw when your leader attacks. Do not forget to draw, guys. It's important to draw. Draw. Every draw could save your life. You could draw into the negate, you could draw into the super combo, you could draw into that one card that you very, very desperately needed. So that's the next one. Do not forget to draw with your leader's effect. More often than not, a lot of people tend to forget. Don't forget. After that, this one is more important than forgetting to draw from your leader's attack. When your leader's awakened, it's not throwing out an energy. Oh my god, I cannot tell you how many times this has happened to me, and I've seen this happen to people. Do not forget to throw out an energy. Obviously, you don't have to throw out an energy every turn, but do not forget to throw it out in the beginning of the game, because if you do forget, that just gives your opponent one extra play above you, one extra negate above you, one extra something above you, giving them that upper hand, and ultimately it will cost you a game. Especially in the tournament scene, do not forget to throw out an energy, because you're going to be like, gosh darn it, and your opponent is going to not want to give you an extra energy because it's going to give him the victory and getting him closer to that tournament deck. And then last but not least, which I thought was the trickiest one when I was learning the game, is understanding card timing mechanics and how that could ultimately cost you a game. So what I mean is autos, negates, and blockers. Quick rundown, how does this work is pretty much like this. First, let's say you got a Saiyan Kaba, right? Your Saiyan Kaba attacks, then it's counters, right? Once your opponent activates a counter, then your Saiyan Kaba's abilities auto-activates. You can take one of your lives, and then after that, your opponent can then choose to use a blocker. So that's how it works, alright? So then you just took a life, and your Saiyan Kaba is 15k double strike, but it's attacking a blocker, and you took a life for no reason. And that can be very, very dangerous late game, because you don't want to take a life if your opponent activates blockers, and that's why blockers are very useful. So remember that, guys. It's autos, then negates, and then the blockers. Okay, so auto, then negate, then auto triggers, then the blocker activates. That's gonna be the 7 things that I hope you guys remember. And if you guys have anything that you guys have tend to forgotten, something simple, something basic, a quick misplay, misunderstanding of whatever the card game, leave it in the comment section so that people that are learning the card game could look at your comment and be like, damn, now I know to draw. Now I know that that's how that works. What are the mistakes that you guys feel that beginners would tend to mess up, or even veterans would tend to forget? And like we always say, y'all stay super.